You ever feel like you're failing over and over again? Like, no matter how hard you try, success just keeps slipping through your fingers? It's frustrating, right? You put in the effort, you try different approaches, but somehow things just don't click. It feels like the universe is telling you to give up. But now, imagine failing not just once or twice or even 100 times, but 10,000 times. Literally. That's what Thomas Edison did while inventing the light bulb. 10,000 times. Just picture that level of trial and error. Constantly hitting roadblocks, constantly watching things fall apart, constantly being told it's impossible. And yet, instead of quitting, instead of throwing in the towel like most people would, Edison looked at failure like it was just another step forward. To him, every wrong attempt wasn't a dead end, it was a lesson, a clue, another step toward getting it right. Think about that. 10,000 failures. If I failed at something 10,000 times, I'd probably take the hint that the universe is telling me to quit. But Edison? He didn't see those as failures, he saw them as discoveries. When someone asked him about all those failed attempts, you know what he said? I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's some next level optimism. But here's the thing, it wasn't just blind positivity. Edison had a mindset that turned obstacles into stepping stones. He understood something that most of us struggle with. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of the process. We live in a world where failure feels like the absolute worst thing that can happen. Bomb a test? Fail. Get rejected from a job? Fail. Embarrass yourself in front of a crowd? Fail. And the worst part? It's not just the failure itself, it's the feeling that comes with it. That sinking pit in your stomach, that voice in your head whispering, maybe you're just not good enough. And social media? That makes it 10 times worse. Everyone's out here posting their highlight reels, the perfect job, the perfect relationship, the perfect wins, while we're sitting at home, scrolling, comparing, wondering why our lives don't look like that. But let me tell you something. Every single success story you admire, every person you look up to, every incredible achievement you've ever heard of, it's all built on a mountain of failures. And Edison? He didn't just have a mountain, he had an entire mountain range. Let's rewind a bit. Before he became the world-famous inventor, young Thomas Edison was just a curious kid who asked too many questions. No, seriously, his teachers thought he was slow because he wouldn't stop questioning everything. They actually pulled him out of school after just a few months. His mom? She saw his curiosity as a gift and decided to homeschool him, and that made all the difference. Because instead of following the traditional path, he spent his childhood experimenting, failing, learning, and trying again. By the time he was a teenager, Edison was already deep into experimenting and working on inventions. He wasn't just a kid with big ideas, he was actively testing, building, and failing. But here's where things get interesting. A lot of people assume he was some kind of overnight genius, like he just woke up one day and created the light bulb. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The reality? He had already racked up a long list of failures before he ever found success. He had worked on inventions that didn't pan out, poured time and money into ideas that went nowhere, and even got fired from multiple jobs because his bosses thought he was too distracted by his own experiments. At one point, he was so broke he had to sell his equipment just to afford food. But instead of seeing those failures as signs to quit, he treated them as stepping stones. He kept going, kept learning, kept adjusting. Because to him, every setback was just one step closer to figuring out what would work. Imagine being so obsessed with solving a problem that you tried 10,000 different ways to fix it. That's what Edison did with the light bulb. He tested different materials, different filaments, different wiring, and over again, things just didn't work. And every time he took notes, adjusted, and tried again. That's the kind of resilience most of us dream about but struggle to build. But here's the good news, it's something we can all learn. Think about your own life for a second. What's something you wanted so badly but gave up on after just a few setbacks? Maybe it was learning an instrument, picking up a new language, starting a business, or chasing a dream you once believed in. How many times did you try before deciding it wasn't meant for you? Once? Twice? Maybe 5 times? The truth is, most people don't fail because they aren't talented enough, smart enough, or capable enough. They fail because they stop trying. They let the discomfort of failure convince them that it's a sign to quit, rather than a necessary part of the process. But here's what Edison's story proves. Success isn't about getting it right the first time. It's about being the person who's willing to fail the most, to push through rejection, to get knocked down and stand back up again and again until something finally clicks. Because the only real way to fail is to stop trying. Let me ask you something. What would you do if you knew failure wasn't the end? If you saw every setback as just one step closer to success? That's the mindset Edison had. And that's the mindset that can change your life. I know. It's easy to say, keep going, when you're not the one actually facing failure in the moment. But let's be real. Failing sucks. It's frustrating, it hurts, and it makes you question everything. Am I even good enough? And that's why so many people stop. The sting of failure is hard to shake, and it's easy to let it convince you that maybe this isn't for you after all. But here's the thing. Those who succeed aren't necessarily the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. They're the ones who keep going when things get tough. They're the ones who refuse to quit, even when it seems like everything is falling apart. The secret isn't in avoiding failure, it's in deciding that failure won't define you. The people who make it are the ones who are willing to endure the hard times, learn from their mistakes, and get back up every single time. They're the ones who just don't quit. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was actually cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah, the queen of television, was told she wasn't fit for TV and was dismissed from her first job as a news anchor. And J.K. Rowling, the woman who created one of the most iconic book series in history, was rejected by 12 different publishers before Harry Potter ever saw the light of day. Now imagine if they had let those failures define them. Imagine if they had believed what people told them, that they weren't good enough, that they would never make it. What if they had stopped right there at that first moment of rejection? What if they had let those setbacks become the end of their story? We wouldn't have the legends we know today. So if they could push through that, why can't you? Now, I want you to think about something you've been afraid to fail at. Maybe it's applying for a dream job. Maybe it's starting a business. Maybe it's something as simple as picking up a new skill. Whatever it is, ask yourself this: if you fail, will it really be the end of the world? Or is it just another step in the process? Edison didn't see failure as a roadblock. He saw it as feedback. If something didn't work, that just meant he was one step closer to figuring out what did work. That's the shift in mindset we all need. Failure isn't a stop sign. It's a detour that leads you exactly where you need to go. So here's my challenge for you. Fail at something this week. Not on purpose, obviously, but take a risk. Try something new. And if it doesn't work out, don't see it as proof that you should stop. See it as proof that you're one step closer. Because if Edison could fail 10,000 times and still keep going, what's stopping you? What's one thing you've been afraid to fail at? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you found this video inspiring, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Let's keep this conversation going and keep pushing through those failures together.